This is it. This is it.
Brilliant. See, it's a perfect example of like, we were going to have this conversation regardless.
There's no question.
And hang out and miss the chance to capture some content.
When I sit down with somebody like Seth Mattison, I have to document the process.
Oh my God.
Can I say, honestly, I was thinking, you know, what is it about Seth that I've always admired? And it's one, you always have a clear picture of the future. You always seem to have a clear picture, but you're not one of those people that just has an opinion of the future. You actually do research, like you base everything that you talk about in some sort of data. So the question that's on my mind whenever I get a second to sit with Seth is what's coming in the future. I know for a while it was like nobody's going back to work and now people are virtual, and so like what is the next big thing in leadership and culture that you're talking about?
So I first of all, I just want to acknowledge the compliment. If I'm honest, it comes totally from a place of insecurity and a feeling of not being enough.
Really?
And that you're going to get found out.
Wow.
And so sometimes I maybe even overcompensate.
Wow.
And will use big words and cite research when in reality I need to use simple language.
Interesting.
And take it down just a bit because it's me trying to overcompensate.
Wow.
So
what a reflection.
I take it as a compliment. You're catching me in a period of deep reflection. I've been doing a lot of work.
Wow. Good for you.
So it's just fascinating that, like, you know, that would be something you would call out. And
that's
like,
the perception, you know. I wish that somebody had a perception like that.
I mean, being well researched certainly isn't a bad thing,
sure.
Right? But like all good things, you know, a superpower can turn into kryptonite if you're not careful.
Oh yeah.
So, with that being said, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Love to have a chance to sit down and have a conversation with you. I'll give you some perspective on the future, but this conversation is going to be about you.
What?
I'm here to help support you and
I appreciate that,
talk about the future for you. But in terms of the future, like, what are thoughts, leadership? You know, just context. Obviously, everything that I do is about studying where the world of work and leadership culture is going next.
Yeah.
And I guess if there's one thing that's become distinctively clear to me over the last 18 months, it is that there is no one future of work. There are only futures, plural.
Okay.
What I mean by that is there is no one blueprint. Everyone's running around right now like sort of like,
this is the
what
next
what
thing.
is it? Is it remote? Is it hybrid? What are we doing with our physical environment? What new technologies? And everyone wants the answers. They want the formula.
Right.
And I keep trying to tell people there isn't a formula. There are frameworks to think through based on your culture, your values, your vision, how you want to best design work for your organization, for your team moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, who's to say that, you know, the Jamie Dimons of Wall Street and I mean, Elon even this week was like, you know, you either get back to the office or you can pretend to work somewhere else.
Wow.
Like, the magic happens in person, and there are other people who are putting bets and saying, if we allow for flexibility, not only can we get the best talent from anywhere, not just in a particular region, but it's what people want today, right? We have fundamentally changed over the last 2 years as a society, as a world.
Right.
We went through a collective existential experience.
Right.
Every person, and I want to get your take on this too. It's like 89% of people said that they had reflected on their values over the past year. 93% of people, this is according to a big global study that here I am citing research.
Here we go.
93% of people said they had a new definition of success in their life over the past 2 years. So we've all been like in this evaluation of like, what do I want?
Yes.
What do I want for my family?
Yep.
What brings me joy?
Yep.
What am I willing to sacrifice in pursuit of success? And most people are claiming some level of flexibility to design a more holistic life.
Yep.
And so organizations, I think, that can lean into that to an extent. That doesn't mean that I think you should sell all your office space or that physically being together doesn't matter.
Right.
But it will mean new skills, particularly for leaders, of like, how do you make people feel what your culture feels like if they never step foot in your building?
Wow. So the real principle here is flexibility.
The principle is flexibility. The principle around culture, I love to tell people is, you know, I'll ask people, why did you want everyone to come back to the office?
Yeah.
Support our culture.
Yeah.
Great. Here's your big takeaway. Culture doesn't live in the walls of your building. Culture lives in the heart of your people.
Sure.
So period, full stop. So how do I make people feel what it feels like to be a part of our team, regardless of where they sit? That's the summary of sort of what I'm seeing right now. There is no one future. There are only futures.
Yeah.
It will be a flexible future. We're going to have to be really intentional about how we use our physical environment.
Sure.
Leaders are going to have to learn new skills. You're going to have to get great at communicating and emitting emotion over the screen.
And you're really good at that. And I think that's why leaders like to have you come talk to their organization, because you're an excellent communicator and you can personify the direction and the vision of where companies are headed very easily in a way that gets people excited. So I've been asked to speak around the country, small little venues, a couple of companies here. You speak on big stages, big companies, Fortune 500 companies. Is there ever opportunity for someone to come hear you speak, or it's like only if the CEO is going to invite you? Do you have any public speaking events coming up?
Great question. So you are right. Like a lot of our clients at this stage now are Fortune 50. They're bigger audiences. Yeah. But you know, I still speak in small rooms, and I've been doing this for 15 years. It's like I've spoken at so many Rotary Chamber of Commerce breakfasts, lunches.
You put the miles in.
Putting the reps in, which is one of the things that, you know, and I know you're a big believer in this, that anybody who's tuned in that, you know, has a message on their heart that they want to share with the world and feel like they have something they want to say and teach. Yeah. Take every rep you can get.
It's so interesting you say that, because I do know a lot of people who are probably watching this right now that somebody has said to them, you know, you should be a coach. You should start speaking. You should get on stages. Everybody knows the awesome stages, 10X Stages program. So like, what was it for you? Because for me, I was asked to speak, but I never had it in my heart to want to go share something. So I feel like I've been pushed into speaking. Were you drawn to it? Like, how did you make that jump into speaking, and what was the message that you knew needed to get out?
So the pull for me was at my core, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
And so I could have been teaching 5th grade geography and a football coach.
Got it.
Like, the only difference is the arena of which I get to do the work is a little bit bigger. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that there isn't, you know, great value and honor in, you know, being a 5th grade geography teacher.
Sure. Different venue, different format.
It's just a different vehicle.
You're a prophet to some degree. And you needed a stage.
I needed a stage. I wanted...
Exactly. Lots of attention, lots of relationships. You mentioned something about, you know, building your skill sets and knowledge in the dark and stepping out on stage. And so I think for a lot of people, you know, they may feel like an introvert, but they feel like this is still a direction that they want to head. Yeah. What I truly believe, Grant Cardone said this, there's no such thing as introvert. You were conditioned as an introvert. Your mother or father said, oh, he's shy, she's shy, and you believed it. And so while I do believe there's personality traits, and I don't like being in social environments, people are always weirded out by that, because I was trained to speak on mics and in front of cameras, even though I wasn't the guy that wanted to be the center of attention. And so what would you say to someone that's like, I want to experiment in stages, and I want to experiment in speaking, and that's something you've crafted for so many years. What's like the one thing they need to know that you could give them right now that's like, what, you know, do you try it at the Rotary Club? Do you do it in front of your family? Do you, like, what do they need to know? Do they need to have it all figured out and an amazing slide deck? Like, what's the first step?
I'll give you three really quick hitters.
Number one
is know your why.
Okay.
Like, why do you want to? So that you can be deeply anchored, because when, you know, you meet the resistance, just like in sales and entrepreneurship, like if you really want to do it, it's got to be anchored into a strong why. Yeah. Because you've got a message on your heart, you want to create change, you've learned something that you know can help other people. Right. You experienced trauma, you know, you went through a difficult thing, and you know by you sharing your story, you will help someone else. Yep. Freaking anchor into that.
Love it.
In a strong way.
Love it.
Number two is, and I think a lot of people miss this, is you want to develop, we call it the PCT. Okay. A lot of people miss this. So PCT is a way to help organize. Like if someone asks you, like, well, what do you speak about? Right. The PCT is a way to organize and communicate what it is that you talk about and what happens when an audience spends time with you. So PCT stands for Problem, Credibility, Transformation. Okay. So what is? Are you taking notes right now? Problem, credibility, transformation. What is the problem that you, by you coming and sharing your story, your knowledge? So like for me, it's always driving more revenue, more flow,
better conversions, better automation, stepping out of the marketing so that it can automate itself.
Right.
Retention, all of those things. Okay, so
So
anchor,
that was number 2.
PCT. You need the why, anchoring in the why, PCT. Number
PCT,
3.
Number 3, I call it eat pancakes.
Okay,
So
I like this. This, by the way, this is like, just so you know, this is like a $40,000, maybe $80,000 masterclass, and he's just throwing this on you right now.
we didn't actually talk about where we
None of this. I'm like, literally, I'm genuinely, personally interested in if you're getting to watch this on any platform right now, like this is free. You should be paying for it.
And it could be a whole day, right? Like I'm just going to give you.
Of course, you could go deep on this.
Eat pancakes is a way of essentially alluding to what you talked about of getting your reps in. When we say eat pancakes, it's anytime I got an opportunity to go speak at a breakfast.
Ah, I see.
Right?
That's where it comes from.
Go and
Eat that breakfast.
I have another buddy. Call it eating the chicken dinner, because the
Oh,
lunches,
man.
like all the the networking events.
Yes.
Go eat pancakes every breakfast that you can go to.
Yeah.
Speak for free.
Yeah.
Get your reps.
Love that.
It will help you. There's no way to get around that.
You got to.